Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. I start in the name of Allah, seeking His assistance, seeking His blessings, and send salutations and greetings to the Prophet of Allah, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Like always, it's Friday, right? A good time for us to reflect our last week and our coming week, right? Because it's very important for us to see why we are here, right? Allah gives many examples in the Quran about this world, right? Because sometimes we make too much of this world. Sometimes we make too less of this world, right? But another one way of thinking about it is if you are at an airport, right? Imagine we all are in a transit on an airport, right? We are having food. Some people are doing trade. Some people are having relationships. Some people are picking women. Whatever. People are doing whatever they do in their lives, right? But we all have this boarding screen, right? At some point, your flight is going to be there, and you have to leave, right? Now, which flight you will be put onto depends on what you're doing in that airport, right? So imagine, you all had these air miles card or airline flight miles card, and depending on how many points you collected, you're going to be put on the flight, and your journey will be different based on how many points you have. Some people will be flying business class. Some people might be, put in the luggage cabin. I don't know, right? So it's really crazy, and that's the example of this world if you think about it. Because some people will be taking business class to paradise, right? When angels comes to take their soul. Right? And some people would be middle class, economy class, back seat, right? And some people will be heading to a beautiful resort, right? And some people will be heading to a war zone, right? It's hell and punishment and fire. But wherever you would go, it's your choice. Allah wants you to go to paradise, right? But if you were at the airport, you were messing around, you didn't collect the points, you didn't care about being a pleasing servant of Allah, that's where you're going to go. And it's a reality that we should not lose focus, right? We like to have fun and joke, that's all good, but sometimes we have to be serious about the seriousness of this life as well. And to think about how am I using my time to make sure I take a business class to paradise. Okay? So that, to think about it, how was my week? What were my metrics, right? Did I spend time reflecting on the book of Allah, connecting with Allah, doing dhikr of Allah, making dua to Allah, engaging in my 5 meetings with Allah? And if not, what's stopping me? Let's have a one-on-one chat about this. Let's see what stops us. Is it a mindset issue? Is it a community issue? How we can solve that? Okay? So we'll talk about it, one-on-one, inshallah. But let's continue with our Quran. Okay, so we have started Surah Al-Qalam, the pen, and we will be starting with verse number 2 today. So those you're going to read. Let's Mukhtar recite the verse number 2 first, and you read the translation. Then we do some discussion on that, and we move on to the next one.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون.
Louder, please.
You, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, by the grace of your Lord, are not mad.
Good. Okay, so let's think about this, right? So whenever we are reading at home, we want to pause and think about it. What can I derive? How can I benefit? Okay? So what comes to your mind? So first is to understand, make sure that you understand the English, you understand what's going on, who is talking to whom, what are the different words, what do they mean, and then go from there, okay? So what can we derive from this?
I think Allah is calming Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam's heart by saying that he's not mad, while people are saying he's mad.
Okay. Anything else? So how do I benefit from this?
That Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is, if you follow him, he's in the right path.
Good. Right. So more importantly, especially in our convert scenarios or new Muslim scenarios or people trying to practice Islam scenarios, what happens is when you start practicing the truth, right, there will be a couple of types of people. Some people will be indifferent. It doesn't bother them if you pray or you don't pray. If you worship Allah or you don't worship Allah, it does not bother them. They'll leave you. They may be happy for you that you have found the love. You found the true love of God. Some people will start, repelling you, and some people will go to the stage that they rebuke you. What a crazy guy! You're old-fashioned fundamentalist. Go back to the cave. All that sort of stuff. So some people are very opposing, but most people are very appealing as well. If you tell them the truth, it appeals them. They're looking for the truth. Some people are on that far left, if you will, right? In that context, they will oppose it. right? They don't want anything to do with it. They will not let you do it. They will ridicule it for it, right? And it affects our hearts, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is validating us. That look, they can call you whatever names you want. Allah is denying their claims, right? So if people call you, remember Allah is saying, "Ma anta bi ni'mati rabbika bimajnun." You're not crazy, right? So, and some of the next verses are also going to be like that. So it's very important to remember that Allah is validating me, even if my family doesn't, even if my community doesn't, even if my friends do not. Okay, Allah is validating me, is approving me. Okay, next verse, please, Mukhtar.
وإن لك لأجرا غير ممنون.
Most surely you will have a never-ending reward.
Good. Okay, so what's the takeaway?
In the hereafter, I think it's referring to the paradise, staying in paradise forever.
Right, and then also from what Allah gives in this world as well, right? Because sometimes we are focused on acquiring something of this world, whether it be love, fame, or wealth, right? And we are worried, like, am I running out of money? How am I doing with my balance? Would I have enough when I retire? Right? So Allah is confirming that, look, you don't have to worry about that, right? First and foremost, yes, the life of this dunya is going to be a test. Allah will test you by providing you, and Allah will also test you by taking away from you, right? But what's guaranteed is that when you take that flight, when you take that business class to paradise, then you have it all, right? So your eternal retirement is not when you're 50, 60, and you have to tap into your 401k or your RRSP. It is in paradise. That's for sure guaranteed. In this world, Allah may give you and take away from you, and that's how Allah is going to test you. And if Allah gives you, that's from the wisdom of Allah. If Allah takes away from you, that's also from the wisdom of Allah. And giving you more does not imply that Allah loves you more. Taking away from you does not imply that Allah hates you. That's not the criteria. The criteria is, a good way to see how Allah loves you is how your heart is. How much your heart has a love for Allah and a love for what Allah loves. That's a very good criteria to see how much you love Allah and how much Allah loves you. Okay, inshallah, next verse please, Mukhtar.
وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم.
You want to give the translation of that? You're not ready? Okay, so Dilshan, give the translation.
And verily you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are on an exalted standard of character.
Right. Okay, good. Now, what do you think from this?
An exalted standard of character, praiseworthy character, good character, amazing character.
Okay, fantastic. So, what I'm saying, 1 second, you need messages here. I'll respond to them later. Okay, this is very important, right? Because a lot of time people say, hey, I just want to do good in this life, right? I just want to be a good man, a good woman, okay? But Allah is saying, look, who defines what good is, right? So good is, how are you in terms of with your parents? How are you in terms of your community? How are you with animals? How are you with environment? And also, how are you between you and the one who created you, right? So it's a comprehensive nature of good, right? And Allah is the one who's attesting that the people who are following the Quran are on the good character, on the best character. And as the wife of the Prophet ﷺ said that his character ﷺ was Quran, right? That's what he was emulating. And that's a very comprehensive thing, because it talks about you and Allah, talks about you and people, you and your tribe, you and your community, you and people you're responsible for, everyone. Okay? And even though people may say whatever to you, to Muslims, or whatever, Allah is validating it for you. So yeah, okay. Okay, let's do maybe 2 more verses and then we'll stop. Okay, so next verse please.
فستبصر ويبصرون.
Khalid, do you have it now?
So you shall see and they too shall see.
Right. So at the end, for those people who are now on this extreme, right? So these are not the people that you should be inviting and whatnot, because you've invited them and they have taken this position of really opposing Islam, opposing your way. So for them, look, you know what? Just wait. You will see the promise of Allah. They will also see it. You will see who is a madman, who was the foolish one and who was the wise one. When the time to take that flight comes in, it will be clear. Everybody will clearly see. You know, all whales will be taken away. So yeah, okay. So yes, and then the next verse continues, kind of what I've already said, is Abu Bakr, Mukhtar, read the verse.
بأيكم المفتون.
Verse 6, Abu Bakr.
Which of you is a prey to madness?
Right? So, when the time comes, you will all see who was the foolish one, who was a madman, who was a smart one. Right? That could be by Allah establishing Islam in this world, which happened with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and if not in your lifetime, then for sure in the hereafter. So we'll end with this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make Quran the light and the spring of our hearts. May help us to live by it, and make it something for us, something that is preventing us from the punishment on the day of judgment and when we are in the graves, and not something against us, something that's saying that look, these guys read it but they did not implement it. Allahumma ameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
جزاكم الله خير.